Hey guys, Mr. Burns here with your video for Lesson 21T, dividing rational numbers. Okay, dividing rational numbers, or the rule for dividing rational numbers, is going to be exactly the same as it was for multiplying rational numbers. The only difference is the operation. So multiplication and division of rational numbers, the rules, according to the signs, are exactly the same. Nothing has changed. Okay, here we go. So it says find the quotient and write in simplest form. So some of this is going to be review from last year. So here we go. It's going to blaze through pretty fast. So number one, we have 2/5 divided by negative 1/5. So we have a positive divided by a negative. So what's my answer going to be? Look at that chart over there off to the right, and let's see. Positive divided by negative is a negative answer. So here we go. Here's the review from last year. So leave the first fraction alone, so it's 2/5. And then we're going to flip the second fraction to its reciprocal, so it's going to be 5/1, and it's still going to be negative. And then after you flip the second fraction to its reciprocal, the division becomes multiplication. From here, you just multiply straight across. So 2 times -5 is -10 over 5 times 1, that's 5. And you got -10 divided by +5, that's -2. So my final answer is -2. Okay, let's go on. Okay, for number 2, we've got -3/4 divided by -5/8. So we have a negative divided by a negative. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. And then here we go. Let's multiply. Let's divide. So we have -3/4. Let's go ahead and flip the second fraction to its reciprocal. So 8/5, and it is still negative. And then when we flip the second fraction to its reciprocal, the division becomes multiplication. From here, let's go ahead and cross cancel. Let's see if we can cross cancel. If you guys remember this from last year. So 4 and 8. What's the greatest common factor between 4 and 8? That's the number 4. So what's 4 divided by 4? 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then 8 divided by 4 is 2. Do 3 and 5 have a common factor? Yes, they do. It's the number 1. So you can't cross cancel in this case. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply. So we got -3 times -2, which is 6, over, and we got 1 times 5, that's 5. Let's simplify this fraction. So 5 will go into 6 one whole time. My remainder is a 1, and the denominator stays the same. So my final answer is positive 1 1/5 for number 2. Let's go on to number 3. Okay, for number 3, let's go ahead and set this up. So let's see, 5 divided by -2/3. We have to change our 5 into an improper fraction first. So let's go ahead and put a 1 underneath the 5. Let's go ahead and flip our reciprocal, our 2/3. Let's go ahead and flip 2/3 to its reciprocal. So it's 3/2, and it's still negative. And then when we flip the second fraction to its reciprocal, the division becomes multiplication. So can we cross cancel in this situation? Nope, we can't cross cancel in this situation. So it's just going to be a positive divided by, or positive times a negative, which gives me a negative answer. So 5 times 3 is 15, over 2 times 1, that's 2. And then let's simplify this improper fraction to a mixed number. So it's still negative. 2 will go into 15 7 times. My remainder is 1, and the denominator stays the same. Okay, on to number 4. On number 4, we have 2 1/2 divided by 5/6. So we're going to change this mixed number to an improper fraction. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5, so I've got 5 halves. Let's go ahead and flip 5/6 to its reciprocal. So 6/5. And then when we flip to the reciprocal, the division becomes multiplication. So can we cross cancel here? Yes, we can. So 2 and 6, let's cross cancel there. So 2 will go into 2 one time. 2 will go into 6 3 times. 5 and 5, what's the greatest common factor between 5 and 5? It is 5, you got it. So 5 will go into 5 one time. 5 will go into 5 one time. And let's go ahead and multiply straight across. So 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. And then when we simplify 3/1, we get a whopping answer of 3. Good job. Let's go on to number 5. On number 5, we have -3 divided by -1 1/5. Let's go ahead and do the work. So let's change our whole number to a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. So we've got -3/1. Let's go ahead and change -1 1/5 into an improper fraction. So 1 times 5, or 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6, so we've got -6/5. Let's go ahead and leave the first fraction alone. So -3/1. Let's go ahead and flip the second fraction to its reciprocal. So it's going to be negative 5 over 6. And then when we flip the second fraction to its reciprocal, our division becomes multiplication. At this point, can we cross cancel? Yes, we can. We can cross cancel 6, 3, and 6. So how many times will 3 go into 3? 3 will go into 3 one time. 3 will go into 6 two times. Okay, here we go. So we've got a negative times a negative. So what's a negative times a negative is going to be a positive. So we got negative 1 times negative 5, which is 5. And then we got 1 times 2, that's 2. How many times will 2 go into 5? 2 will go into 5 2 whole times. My remainder is 1, and the denominator stays the same. So my final answer for number 5 is 2.5. Okay, number 6. Okay, on number 6, we've got negative 3/4 divided by 4.5. So let's go leave the first fraction alone. So negative 3/4. Let's go ahead and convert our second mixed number into an improper fraction. So 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So divided by 9 halves. And let's leave the first fraction alone. So we've got negative 3/4. And let's flip the second fraction to its reciprocal. So 2 over 9. And when we flip the reciprocal, the division becomes multiplication. Can we cross cancel here? Yes, we can in a big way. So we got 3 and 9. So 3 will go into 3 one whole time. 3 will go into 9 three times. 2 and 4. 2 will go into 2 one whole time. 2 will go into 4 two whole times. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. So you got to keep your work all in order. So we have a negative times a positive. So a negative times a positive is going to give me a negative answer. So let's go ahead and indicate that in our answer. So our answer is going to be negative. Now all we have to do is multiply the numbers. 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 3 is 6. So my final answer is negative 1/6. On to number 7. Okay, on number 7, it says Callie feeds her cat the same amount of food every day. Over the past 3 days, her bag of cat food has decreased 1 4/5 cups. A. Which value in this situation is represented by a negative number? Is it the number of days, or is it the amount of cat food? It's the amount of cat food, because remember, like I said, if you ain't Doctor Who, you can't go back in time. So our first answer is negative 1 4/5 cups. Part B says, write a division expression to find the number that represents the change in the amount of food in the bag per day. So here we go. We're going to take the amount of cat food, which was negative 1 4/5, because that's the total amount, okay, of food that was used. And we're going to divide that by the amount of time, because we want to find out how much it changed each day. Okay, so we want to find out how much it changed each day. So we take the total amount of cat food that was used, divide it by the amount of time, and that will give us how much was used per day. Okay, so for part C it says, find the value of your expression from part B. So here we go. So let's do some work. So 5 times 1, so change our mixed number into an improper fraction. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. So we got negative 9/5 divided by, let's go ahead and change our whole number to a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. So 3 over 1. Leave the first number alone, so negative 9/5. Flip the second fraction to its reciprocal, so 1/3. And the division becomes multiplication. At this point, can we cross cancel? Yep, we can cross cancel. So 3 will go into 3 one time. 3 will go into 9 three times. Now we have a negative divided by, or times a positive. So a negative times a positive is going to be a negative answer. At this point, we're going to go ahead and multiply the numerators. So 3 times 1 is 3. And then 5 times 1 is 5. So my final answer is negative 3/5 cups. That's the amount that Callie fed her cat each day. So negative 3/5 cups per day. All right? Okay, let's go ahead and go to the back side. I bet you it's division. Hey, check it out. For once in my life, I am correct. It is division. Ha ha! So numbers 8 through 12, your instructions are to find the quotient. So we're doing division problems here. All right, so, and division problems with decimals. So anyway, here we go, number 8. Here I've got negative 2.5 divided by 0.5. So I'm going to change my divisor, the number on the outside, into a whole number by moving the decimal one spot to the right. And remember, whatever I do to the outside, I have to do to the inside. So I'm going to move that one to the right as well. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my problem as My problem is going to be negative 25, whoops, not negative squiggly, negative 25 divided by positive 5. So how many times will 5 go into negative 5? 5 will go into negative 25 5 whole times, and that's going to be negative 5. A negative 5 times a positive 5 is negative 25. And when I subtract those, I get 0 as my remainder. So my final answer is negative 5. Let's go ahead and move on to number 9. On number 9, we've got 4.4 divided by negative 1.1. So let's go ahead and convert our divisor to a whole number by moving the decimal one spot to the right. And whatever we do to the outside, we have to do to the inside. So let's go ahead and rewrite our division situation. So we've got 44 divided by negative 11. How many times will negative 11 go into 44? It'll go in there negative 4 times. What's negative 4 times negative 11? Negative 4 times negative 11 is positive. Get rid of that squiggly right there. Whoops. Negative 4 times negative 11 is 44, positive 44. And when I subtract those, I get a remainder of 0. So what's my final answer of 44 divided by negative 11? That's negative 4. Okay, let's move on to number 10. So at number 10, we've got 3.2 divided by negative 0.8. So in this case, they write them horizontally. So the first number is going to be our dividend. So let's go ahead and write that down. Dividend. That's the number that's being divvied up, okay, or divided up between your friends. The second number is your divisor. The divisor is the number that's doing the dividing. So that's your divisor. Let's go ahead and rewrite this with the little house thing. I like that a little bit better, especially when we're getting old school. This way of writing it is really, really good on the calculators. So if you're using a calculator, which is what I want you to do, okay, this method of writing it lends really good to lends itself really well to writing with using a calculator. Sorry. Anyway, so here we go. So we got 3.2 divided by negative 0.8. Let's go ahead and change our divisor into a whole number by moving it one spot to the right. And whatever we do to the outside, we do to the inside. So we come up with a new problem of 32 divided by negative 8. So how many times will negative 8 go into 32? Negative 8 will go into 32 negative 4 times. What's negative 4 times negative 8? That's 32. And when I subtract those, I get a remainder of 1. So my final answer for 3.2 divided by negative 0.8 is negative 4. Okay, let's move on to number 11. On number 11, we have 11.2 divided by negative 7. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this. And they made this really easy for you. It's a positive divided by a positive. So guess what your answer is going to be? Yup, you guessed it, positive. So here we go. So we got 11.2 divided by 0.7. Let's go ahead and change our divisor so it's a whole number. So I'm going to move the number one spot to the right. Whatever I do to the outside, I do to the inside. So I come up with a new division expression of 112 divided by 7. So 7 will go into 11 one whole time. 1 times 7 is 7. Subtract those, I get 4. Bring down the 2. 7 will go into 42 6 whole times. 6 times 7 is 42. Subtract those, I get 0 as my remainder. So my final answer of 11.2 divided by 0.7 is 16. That's my final answer. Okay, number 12. Okay, on number 12, we've got Luann received a gift card from the local video store. The value on her card has decreased by $23.20 after she had rented 8 movies. Part A says, which value in this situation should be represented by a negative number, and why? Well, it's negative $23.20. And why is that? Because that's the amount that her card decreased by. That's why. Okay, part B says, write a division expression to determine the number that represents the total change in value on her card per movie rental. So we take the number that it decreased by, and I'm going to go ahead and take all of this and rewrite it underneath here. So we take the total that her card decreased by, which was $23.20. So negative $23.20. And we're going to divide that by the number of movie rentals, which is 8, to find out what her total change in card value was per movie rental, so per movie. So since we've already determined that the answer in this situation is going to be a negative answer, oops, not a squiggly, but a negative answer, Let's go ahead and just forget about the negative signs and the positive signs for right now and just do the long division. So we're going to go 2320. So we're going to say 2320. We're going to divide that by 8. Bring up the decimal point into the quotient. And let's see. Let's go. So 8 will go into 23 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract those. I get 7. Bring down the 2. 8 will go into 72 9 times. 9 times 8 is 72. Subtract those. I get 0. Erase that and start over again. So 72 minus 72, that's 0. Bring down the 0. 8 will go into 0 0 times. So 0 times 8 is 0. Subtract those. I get a remainder of, let me move this up just a touch, nothing. Oop, not squiggly, but nothing. So my final answer is $2.90 per movie. So the answer is negative $2.90. That's how much decreased by after each movie rental. Okay, at this time, go ahead and get out a piece of paper and let's get ready to write down our book assignment for lesson number 20, I believe. Okay, or lesson 21, sorry. So on the top right-hand side of your paper, go ahead and put the period, put your name. Go ahead and put math. It's page 100, and it's numbers 2 through 18 even. Please put today's date, and then over there on the top left-hand side, please put lesson number 21. Thanks, guys, and if you have questions, raise your hand and I'll come around and help you.